Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's November 15th, 2015, and this week we're going to do a lesson on playing a minor scale guitar solo. And this week's question was sent in from John. He's out in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and he wrote in with this email. Your videos on learning to perform a major and a minor pentatonic guitar solo were super helpful. I'm writing to you with a request for a video like that, but covering the natural minor. I started learning to solo with the major scale, but I'm now finding that my ability level for soloing with natural minor is awful. Could you help me with this by making a natural minor solo lesson? From John in Pembroke Pines, Florida, USA. Well, hey, thanks for writing in, John. You know, the natural minor scale can function in ways that certainly expand from the minor pentatonic approach, but the interesting part when using this scale will occur more from how we play through the scale runs. Natural minor can introduce very linear sounding scale runs, and this will be a way that differs from the minor pentatonic. Pentatonic scales offer us the sound which eliminates half steps from the 7-tone natural minor, and when those half steps are reintroduced or applied again, we generate a sound that is quite unique as compared to pentatonic. And it's going to be one which covers chord changes in a little bit more interesting ways. So in this lesson, I've composed a 12-bar natural minor solo. It should work well to introduce you to how the natural minor can be applied to create lead guitar soloing ideas. So we're going to get started with me just ripping through the whole solo, give you an idea how it all sounds, and then we're going to break it down bar by bar. Well, first let's begin with a quick playthrough of the first 4 bars of this natural minor guitar solo. It's in the key of D minor. I'm going to play it down and I'm going to break it into more detail after that. So here's how it sounds. All right, so it's using 2 patterns of the D minor scale, both located off of a root on the 5th fret of the 5th string. One is going between the 5th fret up to around 8th fret. The other one's basically the same notes more or less, doesn't go as high into the region of the scale, but it's basically the same notes. So it's a little bit lower region, more towards headstock, that one. And then the first one I played, as you can tell, is kind of more in the center of the neck. Now, the first 4 measures stay in the lower fingerboard region here. They're focusing upon, I would call it sort of a more constant, sort of more forward feel by playing through the scale using some really consistent 8th notes. And the scale has a few places where the sustains are getting applied with ties. That happens in measure 1 over the bar line and inside the measure itself. So a little bit of sustain there. And also there's a 16th note triplet in that second measure. I think it gives it a little bit more of a push. It's happening right there at around 3rd beat there. So. Now after that, it's just steady 8th notes going across the measures 3 and 4. So those ones, they're using some slide ideas that are happening in those measures just to kind of help, relocate the position. And then, so it's very scalar there in those sections. Now, one more time, I'm going to play this thing down, give you an idea how it's fitting together. Here's all 4 of those first 4 measures. Well, in measures 5 through 8, things are going to change up a little bit with the application of some longer sustains. We're going to have a bend entered there. We're going to have another one of those 16th note licks that are showing up as a triplet, and there'll be an isolated 16th note run. So I'm going to begin by just playing through these next 4 measures to give you an idea how they all sound on their own. It goes like this. All right, so what's happening there is we're starting off in that same fingerboard position that we had from the previous 4 bars. Sort of in the center of the guitar fingerboard there at the 5th fret. Now we also are jumping forward as well. We're going to be working out of a new pattern. This is going to be around 10th fret here. So we're up a little bit higher up on the neck in that region. So we're doing a pretty major position shift there, and it's basically coming off of the bend and release that happens in the first measure. So we start off with a little bit more time in our favor with the quarter note and 8th notes tied. And then we do the bend release. That is the end of that position, and then we're moving forward, and we're going to be dealing in the 10th position from that point onward. So basically, in measures 5 and 6, we're still in the center of the neck, and we're going to apply some scale phrases with, those longer sustains, and we have that dotted quarter note in the 8ths and so forth. The bend idea sustains that G tone, and then it comes down, and basically we're tagging that high C after that. And then things get a little bit faster where we're, moving up the neck. We're introducing the 16th note triplet. And we also have that 16th note run that happens on the 3rd and 4th strings. So it's kind of flashy sounding idea in there. So is the 16th note triplet though as well. And it's just a really cool way to add a little bit more embellishments, by way of hammer-on and pull-off techniques around those sounds. So one more time, I'm going to play this segment down. This is measures 5 through 8. Well, our last segment of this solo, measures 9 through 12, is going to have a few new concepts, including a legato run played using a series of hammer-ons, and also a fun melodic phrasing technique that's referred to as pedal point technique. Sounds really cool. So I'm going to begin here, though, by playing through these final 4 measures, just to give you a really good idea on how it all sounds. Now, I should mention something. Prior to coming into measure 9, on measure 8, there is a pickup note concept. It happens on the final 2 16th notes of that 8th measure. So I'm going to be rolling in off those, so it'll feel like this. It'll be like, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so from measure 9, basically we're kind of starting off a little bit slower. We have the pickup notes that roll in. And then we're jumping over from basically the 8th fret into the 10th fret. And we're operating just between the 2 scale patterns that we were discussing in the last segment of the solo. That was the scale pattern that ran off 5th string, 5th fret. And also the one that runs off 10th fret. So in between there, we have another segment, and that's running from the 10th fret of the 6th string all the way up to the 3rd string D, and then we're moving up into the 7th and 8th frets, and we also have an 8th and 10th fret up on top. in that particular pattern. So essentially here, in getting started, we're working in between those two patterns, the one that was from 5th fret and the one that was from 10th. And basically, it's kind of important that you really study your neck thoroughly when you're learning your scales. I haven't really stressed that too much in, basically breaking down this solo, but it's important. You really got to know those scales first before you're going to start jumping into playing, all your soloing ideas. But, from that sort of slower standpoint, when we're getting started, and from that B flat to that F, we're going to be going through a really cool idea coming up next on measure 10. And what's happening there is we're going to do what's called a legato run. Now, what that means is we're going to play one note on each string, and we're going to hammer on into the other notes. So we're going to start on 3rd string, we're going to go 9, 10, 12, and then we're going to move up to 2nd string, go 10, 11, and 13, and then we're going to go to the 1st string and play 10 and 12, and jump back and play C to finish the thing off. So basically, the idea behind this is that we're trying to operate within the position, run through the scale tones with just one pluck on each string, and then the other fingers slam down, create the hammer-on technique to generate the other sounds. And the tough part maybe is jumping back there to grab that 8th fret. I missed it there once when I was trying to run through it and do the demo of the run. But basically, you just have to practice these, and after a while, your hammer-ons get really good. It's really about accuracy of where the finger slams down onto the fretboard, and then it's also, really using the right part of your finger. You want to have that real bony tip of your finger slamming down onto that string, and you should be able to generate a tone by just doing that without picking anything. Just slamming the finger down. So really important technique to get down. It's a great sound too. Sounds really good with distortion. It's actually a lot easier to do with distortion as well. But after that, we're going to move into another really cool technique. It's probably one of my favorite techniques. It's called pedal point idea. Now what happens with these concepts is we have one note. In this case, it's going to be moving up to that higher fretboard position, 10th fret position in D minor. And we're going to really focus on the A tone. That's on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, that A. And we're going to have that as our pedal, and then the scale is going to operate above that. But after every hit on a scale tone, we're going to play the pedal. And it sounds really good when you speed it up a bit. It's a very cool sound. You'll hear a lot of guitar players use this sound. It really grabs the listener's attention, kind of, sucks people into the sound of the idea that you're blasting through there. It's a really interesting technique. There's a lot of different ways to approach it. I'm using a lower pedal tone in this case. You could use an upper pedal tone, and it's just different ways to mess around with it. You could even use 2 pedal tones that operate off of maybe a lower or upper melody line that moves around. So just test and operate the idea. I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fun with it. But after that pedal tone concept, we have a bend and release from 12th fret. And we're coming around into the 13th fret 2nd string to wrap up the phrase. So basically, I'm going to play this whole thing once again, and I'm going to start from the pickup notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The use of natural minor scale to create guitar solos is evident across much of the solos performed in rock and in metal. Bands like, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, or Metallica, just to name a few, certainly use their fair share of the minor pentatonic, but there's a serious reliance from those bands upon the natural minor scale to create the guitar solos. Also, we need to pay attention to the solos from all the instrumental guitars, especially those guitar players in the style of neoclassical rock and metal. Although players like, let's say, Yngwie Malmsteen will mix the natural minor with harmonic minor quite a lot, the pentatonic will certainly get lesser use compared to how they'll use the full natural minor. Anyhow, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, I want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if possible, consider a small donation to help fund the guitar lessons project that I'm doing. Otherwise, have yourself a really great week, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye for now. I'd like to take a moment to mention another guitar video lesson project I've started. It's a unique guitar lesson approach that I'm doing online, and it's not like anything I've done before. Best of all, it's 100% free. I've called this approach Guitar Micro Lessons, and they're a great way to learn a few new licks or riffs or chord shapes each week. Now, these guitar micro lessons are quick and easy to learn from. They're very short, with each lesson running between only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in length. They're published to YouTube from Monday to Thursday on my other Guitar Blog Update YouTube channel, and you can either subscribe to that channel to guarantee getting each new episode, or just visit the channel whenever it's convenient for you and check out the new micro lessons in the playlist on the Guitar Blog Update channel's homepage. If you're interested in learning faster, making better use of your time, and practicing longer, the Accelerating Your Learning Curve ebook is for you. Over 60 pages of information on how to take control of both the way you learn and the time that you devote to your practicing. Accelerating Your Learning Curve is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.